After 15 years hidden in a quiet village, the long-lost heiress returns to the glittering city that abandoned her, carrying secrets darker than the lies her family built their empire on. They mocked her as a country fool, but she's a master of medicine, design, and deception, and she's here to unravel the truth behind her mother's accidental death. When a ruthless billionaire with shadows of his own offers help, trust becomes her deadliest gamble. Because in this world of wealth and betrayal, even allies might be wearing masks. Hello everyone, this is Drama Labs, let the story begin. They said I was a country bumpkin, a fool with mud on my boots. For 15 years, I'd lived in Willow Creek, a village tucked between rolling hills, while my so-called family thrived in New Haven's glittering elite circles. When my grandmother passed away, the hunts finally came for me, not out of love, but because a dusty contract from decades ago forced their hand. Little did they know, the bumpkin they sneered at had more tricks up her sleeve than their entire dynasty combined. Willow Creek wasn't the backwater they imagined. Asphalt roads wound through cottages with ivy-covered walls, and modern farmhouses blended seamlessly with oak groves. My grandmother's cottage, a blend of colonial charm and contemporary design, was my sanctuary. I'd built it with her, board by board, nail by nail, when I was barely old enough to hold a hammer. That's the first secret they never bothered to learn. I'm the architect whose award-winning designs had quietly transformed rural communities across the country. The sleek black car pulled up just after dawn. Two men stepped out, Ethan Hunt, my eldest cousin, with a face carved from marble but eyes that held a flicker of guilt, and his younger brother Liam, a gangly teen whose curiosity overpowered his personality. Lila? Ethan's voice wavered as I opened the door. Sunlight gilded my simple jeans and white tee, but I saw their shock, not at my clothes, but at the face they'd forgotten. Liam's jaw dropped. Whoa. Are you sure she grew up in a village? She looks like a movie star. Ethan cleared his throat. Grandfather sent us. He wants you back in New Haven. I stared at them, letting the silence stretch. Where's my father? Ethan shifted uncomfortably. Richard's in the middle of a crucial land deal. Grandfather's health isn't good. Spare me the excuses. I stepped back, crossing my arms. Grandmother's funeral isn't over. I'll come when I'm ready. Liam's eyes widened. But, Liam. Ethan cut him off, his gaze softening. We'll wait. In the city. As their car vanished, I turned to grandmother's portrait, her smile warm as ever. I'll go, Gram. But not for them. For you. That night, I found the wooden box she'd hidden in her study, a velvet-lined case filled with photos, me at 7, covered in paint from my first art project, me at 16, accepting a scholarship for medical research, me at 18, my design plan spread across the kitchen table. Behind one photo, her handwriting trembled, my Lila, smarter than they'll ever know. Protect her. 2 weeks later, I packed a single suitcase and drove to New Haven. The Hunt mansion loomed like a fortress, its columns reaching for the sky. Inside, crystal chandeliers dripped light onto marble floors, but the air felt colder than Willow Creek's winter. Ah, the prodigal granddaughter. Victoria Hunt, my stepmother, simpered as I entered. Her red dress clung to her frame, diamonds winking at her wrists. Beside her stood Clara, my stepsister, who'd stolen my name, my place, my life. Clara's lip curled. You actually came. I thought country roads would keep you forever. Clara, Ethan chided, but his heart wasn't in it. Richard Hunt, my father, barely glanced up from his newspaper. About time. Dinner's in an hour. Don't embarrass us. That's how it began. They mocked my rustic manners, scoffed at my worn leather notebook, where I jotted design sketches and medical notes, and whispered behind my back about how I'd never fit in. Clara made sure every party guest knew I'd just arrived from the sticks, while Victoria kindly offered to teach me how to behave like a lady. But I'd spent years mastering more than architecture and medicine. In Willow Creek, I'd learned to read people, to spot lies in a flicker of an eye, to turn scorn into advantage. At Clara's 18th birthday gala, when she accidentally spilled wine on my dress, I smiled and said, no matter. I designed this dress myself. Stain-resistant fabric, very practical for clumsy people. The room went silent. That's when I saw him, Kane Voss, leaning against a marble pillar, watching me with eyes like storm clouds. New Haven's most elusive billionaire, they said. Ruthless in business, colder than ice. But his gaze held something I couldn't name. Dr. Hartley, isn't it? He approached, his voice low and gravelly. I've read your research on herbal medicine. Impressive. I froze. No one here knew about my medical work, let alone my published papers under a pseudonym. He smirked. I make it my business to know exceptional people. Before I could reply, Clara swooped in, linking her arm through his. Kane. I've been looking everywhere. Ignore her, she's just my cousin. Kane's eyes never left mine. Is she? That night, I snuck into grandmother's old safe in the mansion's basement, a place Richard had forgotten existed. Inside, a letter addressed to me, "Your mother didn't die in that accident. Find the truth, Lila. Trust no one but yourself." My mother. Alara. Richard had told me she died in a car crash when I was 5. But the letter hinted at something darker. The next morning, I confronted Richard. "Tell me about Mom." He slammed his coffee cup down. "Drop it. She's gone. Was it an accident?" His jaw tightened. I said, "Drop it." Clara appeared in the doorway, smirking. "Why so curious, Lila? Afraid you'll never live up to her? She was perfect, unlike you." That's when I snapped. "Perfect enough for your mother to steal her husband? Perfect enough for you to steal her daughter's life?" The room went quiet. Richard's face turned purple. Victoria burst into tears. Ethan pulled me aside later. "Lila, please. This family's fragile enough. Fragile because they're built on lies." I handed him the letter. His eyes widened as he read. "I didn't know. None of you did. But I'm going to find out." With Ethan's hesitant help, I dug deeper. Alara had been investigating corruption in Richard's company before her death. Records vanished. Witnesses clammed up. But I found a name, Marcus Vance, Richard's right-hand man, who'd retired shortly after the crash. Kane appeared again at a charity auction, where Clara was flaunting a necklace Richard had bought her, a necklace that once belonged to my mother. "Tasteful, isn't it?" Clara preened. I met Kane's gaze. Stolen goods are rarely in good taste. Afterward, he cornered me in the gardens. "You're looking into Alara's death." It wasn't a question. "Mind your own business, Mr. Voss. Her research threatened some very powerful people. Including your father." He leaned closer. "I can help. But you'll have to trust me." "Why would I trust you?" "Because we want the same thing, the truth." His voice softened. "And because I don't like seeing you fight alone." Against my better judgment, I agreed. Kane had resources I couldn't dream of, private investigators, access to sealed records, influence in places I'd never reach. Together, we uncovered a trail, forged accident reports, bribed officials, a hidden bank account in Marcus's name, funded by Richard. But Victoria and Clara weren't idle. They spread rumors that I'd stolen from the family, that I was mentally unstable, that I'd seduced Kane to get ahead. At a gala honoring Richard's philanthropy, Clara stood up and accused me of trying to poison her. The room gasped. Richard looked triumphant. "Is this true, Lila?" Grandfather asked, his voice weak. I held up a vial. Clara tried to frame me. "This is the poison, a common sleep aid. I had it tested. Her fingerprints are all over it." Kane stepped forward, and screens lighting up behind him. "And while we're on the subject of lies," he said, "let's talk about Richard's philanthropy." Documents flashed across the screens: embezzlement, money laundering, Alara's research exposing it all. Richard lunged at me, but Ethan tackled him. "Enough, Dad." Victoria screamed, Clara sobbed, and the guests stared in horror. Grandfather stood, his back straightening. "Richard, you're disinherited. Victoria, Clara, pack your things. You're no longer Hunt's." Later, Kane found me on the mansion's balcony, watching the sunrise. "You did it," he said. "I did it with help." I smiled. "Why did you care so much? About Mom, about me?" He pulled out a photo, a younger Kane with my mother, both grinning in lab coats. "She mentored me. At medical school. I owed her." His gaze turned soft. "And I care about you." I laughed, the weight of years lifting. The Ice King has a heart. He kissed me then, the kind of kiss that promises new beginnings. A month later, I stood in grandmother's cottage, now mine, with Ethan by my side. He'd taken over the family business, vowing to make amends. "Stay in New Haven?" he asked. I shook my head. "This is home. But I'll visit." "And Ethan?" "Thanks." He hugged me. "Thank you. For showing us what courage looks like." As I watched the sunset paint the hills pink, my phone buzzed. A text from Kane: "Dinner tonight? My place. I'll cook." I smiled. The past would always haunt me, but for the first time, I had a future, one where I wasn't the lost heiress, or the country bumpkin, but just Lila, architect, doctor, survivor. And maybe, just maybe, loved. The end.